Hello and welcome. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Andrew, and we're brothers. And this is the Daniel and Andrew Show,
where we give our opinions about movies and TV and movies about being entertained that we've been watching lately. So, Andrew, how you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
All right.
My wife is upstairs cooking right now.
Yep. Today is Thanksgiving. We're recording, so that's fun. Got a fun day planned. Did you do anything fun this week?
So I told you last week I was watching Arcane, and I hadn't finished it. I have now finished it. It was very good. I enjoyed. Some were a bit slow, and then once you reach like the ending, it all like kind of connects.
Right.
So I kind of elevated those last episodes.
Nice.
So I quite enjoyed it. I hope they do more. I've heard they are going to do more, but that's not going to be the same studio, I think. So I don't know about that.
Just for animation or just in general?
Just for the animation, I believe. Well, it took them, so for the first season, it took them like 5 years or something. And then it took them 3 years for this season. So,
well, maybe they're just getting it into somebody who can handle the load or something.
Well, they can handle it. I mean, that animation that's probably like the best animation like ever. But I just think they need I think they're probably tired of working on Arcade. Probably want to work on something else.
We're done with this. We're ready for something new. Yeah, I see what you mean. All right, well, cool. I'm glad you liked it. That's always good when people like what we watch.
I will definitely rewatch from season 1 if you want to watch it.
Yeah, I could always go back.
Yeah.
I don't know. Didn't grab me for some reason. Yeah, maybe. I also saw something animated, so it's the 20th anniversary of Howl's Moving Castle, which is one of the Studio Ghibli movies.
Yeah.
I've seen a few of them now. Seen about, I want to say, this is probably like the 5th one I've seen now. And I had never seen any of them a few years ago. And I think this is the best one that I've seen. I've seen like Spirited Away and Totoro and The Boy and the Heron, and then this one, and then I think there was one more that I cannot remember. Anyway, I thought this one was pretty good. It looks like all of those movies look really nice. They're like anime characters on like painted backgrounds pretty much. Mm-hmm. And this one I feel like was my favorite one. I think I just liked the characters and like the little world that they create. But this movie came out 20 years ago now. I think the one that hit the biggest was the one that won the Oscar, which was Spirited Away. Well, Boy and the Heron won the Oscar last year, but the first one to win the Oscar, Spirited Away, that one really hit, I think, with American audiences, the biggest. And I like this one more than that one. He's like a magic. Howl is like a magical being that has this like big mechanical castle that he can like teleport to like different worlds using the castle. And there's a lady that gets cursed by being old. And then he like takes her in, I guess. there's always an American or not an American, but like an English speaking voice cast. Um, so Christian Bale was Howl, and Billy Crystal was like this fire demon thing, just like a talking fire. So I was like, oh, that's Mike Wazowski as a fire. Um, so that was kind of funny, and he was funny. Um, I thought the movie was pretty good. I quite enjoyed it. I don't know, for some reason this one worked for me the most. I also like Totoro is a good one too. I would give the movie like probably like a 7.5 or 8. I mean, for some reason this one kind of got I was I was engaged the whole time, so that's good. But I also got to see it in the theater instead of watching it at home or whatever, so that was probably definitely helped. But it actually kind of reminded me of The Boy and the Heron. Like the storyline was kind of similar to The Boy and the Heron, but I thought this one was much better.
I saw that one in theaters and I was thoroughly bored. So
Yeah, I mean, like this one, like even like the ending was like similar, like beats to it, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, probably just like the world a little bit more. But I mean, The Boy and the Heron wasn't that bad of not like a bad movie, but yeah, it was definitely kind of boring. Anyway, cool. All right, so let's get into some news. So we're on the Thanksgiving week here. Um, so but last week we had a really big opening weekend for Gladiator and Wicked, Gladiator 2 and Wicked. And we're talking about Gladiator 2 later, but so it was a big weekend, and so Wicked was projected to make 100 to 120 million. It made 114. And Gladiator was looking to make 60 to 80, and it made 55. So Gladiator underperformed, and Wicked did about like pretty well in the middle there. And then we got Moana coming up, and that's looking to do like 175, and these are domestic numbers. And Moana's looking to do like 175 for this weekend, and that's 5 days. So it's like 125 or something for 3 days. But yesterday, Wednesday, it made like 60 million in one day. So that's gonna be a monster opening. There's it's a busy time at the movies. There's like barely any seats for most movies because those 3 movies are taking up most of the screens. Pretty much all the movies other than those 3 have been pushed out of screens, so there's like very little extra movies to see. But yeah, it's good for the theaters to get people back into the theaters, at least for this week and a few weeks coming up. I don't know how busy the holidays are going to be. I don't feel like there's a lot of like great movies coming out, but it looks like people are willing to go see movies at least. But it looks like Wicked's going to do well over these 5 days as well. So it's going to be a good hit for Universal. And that movie was kind of a question mark on what it was going to do. That it's a musical, and some people don't like musicals, but and also that movie is the percentage split on men to women. It was like 72% women. That's higher than Barbie, and that was like really high percentage men and women. So women are seeing that movie like more than Barbie. That's crazy. That's like a lot.
Well,
Um,
you've been starved since Barbie.
yeah, I guess so. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how that does. Yeah, Wicked, the highest opening for a straight Broadway um, adaptation to film for opening weekend was 31 million for Into the Woods. So Wicked, I mean, tripled, destroyed that previous record. So we'll see how it does overall. But yeah, that's pretty good numbers for good old musical. The last musical, we saw how the last musical did, which was Joker there.
Yeah, nobody wanted that, unfortunately.
Yeah. So yeah, so we'll see how that does. Um, all right. So Wolves 2 um was announced by Apple. But it's been canceled because by the director, John Watts, who directed the Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man movies, canceled it because he was unhappy that they switched from a wide release film to a very limited release and then basically an Apple only release. He was upset about that. And he told them he doesn't want to make another one with them because they're not a reliable creative partner. And then they said that they were going to make a second one anyway. And he was like, no. When they made it only like Apple movie.
I mean, couldn't they just get a different director? Or is he?
I think he wrote it. I think it's I would
Okay.
assume it's his IP. I don't know how it works like that. But yeah, he was basically like, no, that's not happening. So I thought that kind of interesting. I don't think you saw it, did you? The first one?
No, no, I want to. No one has
Yeah.
Apple TV, and I was waiting for Silo to finish releasing, and then I'll get it for a month and then
Yeah.
dump it.
I mean, I think you'll probably like it.
I
But
think so too. I don't know how they botched that. So
yeah, they just I that was a movie. It was weird. We even talked about it. We were gonna see it. I don't know why they changed their mind and put. I mean, maybe they just. I mean, it wasn't like a spectacular movie or something. I can see why they might have not had faith in it, but I mean, it was like the highest. It's like the highest watched Apple movie. But it was also in
really,
really. Yeah, I think so, or one of them. I'm pretty sure. But I think it was a high watched one because there was the release in the theaters was so short and it was so limited. It was in
yeah.
very little theaters.
Well, they
So
did it probably to try to get more subscribers. I mean, I think it's
yeah,
an
no, I
easy.
know their reason, but clearly they told them it said it was going to be a wide release film. Like they put out trailers, like and it weren't like
Yeah, that's
you know.
true. Yeah.
So one trailer, and I was confused why that. I was like, why did we get another trailer for that movie? But, so yeah, so we'll see another one of those, whether people liked it or not. I guess at least maybe they'll change their mind, but I doubt it.
I mean, can he
Um,
just go somewhere else? It's not like.
yeah, like I said, I don't know how the contract thing works.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe you call it something else and you slightly change something. I don't know how it works, but um, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. So let's talk about this movie. Okay. So there is a DC Comics character called Sergeant Rock. He's a World War II soldier character, and um, Daniel Craig is in talks to star as this character, um, with Luca Guadagnino to direct the film. Um, that he's the guy who wrote Challengers, wrote and directed Challengers, or no, just directed Challengers, and then whatever, in Challengers, and he did Call Me by Your Name, and then this movie, this recent movie with Daniel Craig called Queer that I heard is not very good. So a very indie art house director, maybe possibly doing a DC Comics character with Daniel Craig playing him. I would have assumed that this character is supposed to be older.
Yeah, I don't want to see no Disney-fied Daniel Craig like younger or something the whole movie.
This is DC, comic book character with apparently that this has been, they've tried to adapt this character before, projects that were unsuccessful with Arnold Schwarzenegger at one point and Bruce Willis at one point. So probably a character has been around a while.
I don't see how DC or Warner Brothers has enough money for all of this. Like, there's so many movies it seems that they have in the works for DC
I don't even.
alone.
And this is a character that no one has heard of. I've never heard of this character.
I've never heard of him either.
Yeah, so I'm not sure why they would want to do this anyway. Maybe Luca, the director, was like, I'm interested in it, And I mean, Daniel Craig, people do like him. So, but I don't know. It sounds risky at best. So I don't know about that, and I don't know anything about the character. So, who knows? But yeah. So good luck to them on that, I guess. But this is also in talks. It wasn't like a guaranteed thing. It hasn't said it's confirmed or anything. But they're circling, as you might say. All right. So we haven't talked about Christopher Nolan's next movie yet, but they've been adding people the last couple weeks, and is a pretty good list of people. So this movie is set to come out in July of 2026, so summer of 26. The cast list includes Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Matt Damon, Lupita Nyong'o, and Charlize Theron.
Wow.
So quite the stacked list right there of heavy hitters.
Nolan gives you the call. I mean, you sign up, I guess. It's not really a choice, it seems.
I believe that is three Oscar winners and definitely people that have been nominated as well. I think Matt Damon won. I think he won for writing. I think so.
He's
4.
Probably, yeah.
I think it's 4 actually. And also that is also a bunch of people that have been in. The people from different. Nolan.
Hathaway was in Batman. She was.
Yeah, that's right. She's also in Interstellar, I think, isn't she?
Yeah, she's in Interstellar. Yeah.
Pattinson was in.
So was Matt Damon. Matt Damon's been in a bunch of stuff.
Matt Damon's in Interstellar as well. Yeah. And then in Oppenheimer. Yeah, so you got the whole gamut of Nolan films there.
It's just the newer, just Zendaya
and Holland and Theron. I don't think Lupita's been in one either, but you got some good people there. Interesting that they got Holland and Zendaya there. I think they're pretty sure they're the couple in real life. So.
I mean, yeah, that alone is gonna bring it. the cast is crazy. That's gonna bring
That
in a lot of people.
that cast list is more interesting than some of his more recent cast lists. Noah, what's his name? I guess Murphy. There, maybe he'll be there somewhere in a small role.
Yeah, just like a cameo or something.
Yeah, you got to keep him in there. He's in a lot of his movies. Like almost all of his movies, I'm pretty sure he's
Yeah, yeah,
in. So yeah. This cast list gets me kind of interested, but of course, as we know, there's no information for it. It's all very secret.
yeah.
I'm assuming that this one he kind of does like his normal weird time bending, world bending stuff, and then he does like a more serious one. So I'm gonna guess this is gonna be it. Back to the
Hmm.
world bending ones. Um,
Yeah. I never
so
did see the previous film, not Oppenheimer, the one before that
yeah, Tenet.
released. And I never
Yeah,
saw that one.
me either. I've heard it's not that great. People just don't talk about it because they want to go, Nolan's the best, the greatest of all time.
Hmm.
But they go, yeah, Tenet didn't happen.
Yeah, maybe
Because
I'll watch it. Let's see what's really up.
yeah, maybe. Um, I have no intention of watching it, so I was glad that came out when it did, so I didn't have so I could just pretend it didn't happen. Another movie I didn't have to see.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So we'll see. But got a few years for that, so, or a year and a half, I guess. All right. So let's get to some trailers. Let's get back to the old animation here. Um, let's talk about Lilo and Stitch first because that was like nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like fan made or something to me, but
Yeah, a little
yeah.
bit. It does a little bit look like fan made.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
there's not much to
it's
talk
just him.
about. Yeah.
It's just Stitch there doing
I would
his
assume
Stitch
they're
thing.
just doing the original movie, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
It's just the live action of that. Um, yeah. I mean, this movie. I think this is like what 20 years old at this point. Maybe even it's like 2003, 2004, something like that. So I'm, I'm Lilo and Stitch was never like high on my list or anything of Disney. I mean, like it's a decent movie, but I'm not. It was. It's not like fantastic or anything. Um,
yeah. You don't
this is
feel
coming out.
old that they're remaking stuff that came out when you were a kid?
To be honest, no, not this one. Like, no. I mean, I would have been pretty young when this movie came out, so no, not really.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'm kind of happy they are like these things are coming out that should appeal to me. Um, but the one that I like is Hercules, and they have not done that. They've done like every movie around that time. They've done pretty much, other than like Emperor's New Groove. Like they're even doing things after. They're doing a live action Moana that came out like 8 years ago. Like I don't even know why they're doing that, other than to appease The Rock, I guess. Um, so
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I guess because Hercules is a white dude, I guess. Maybe that's why they don't want to do it.
I
They don't
don't,
want a white
but
lead.
it's
I don't know.
Greek. Like he could be Greek. Like
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't
he could
know.
be anybody. Hercules doesn't have to be white. Even I mean, they did Little Mermaid, and she wasn't white. So I mean, you could have Hercules be literally any color. You can have
Yeah,
him
that's
be
true.
you can have him be gold because he's a
I don't
god
know.
or something.
That's the one that would actually kind of make sense in live action because it's not like too crazy. Like you can do
Well,
gods, right? But
it'll be god. You can have gods. There's so many characters in that, so you can have like an all-star cast. Like there's five. There's the muses and it's five ladies, five singers. You could literally have five stars as
hmm
those singers. And there's gods. You can have and your Hercules. I think could be it doesn't have to even be a star. He could be a no name.
Yeah,
It could be an unknown. And then you could have everybody else be a star. Everyone
yeah,
else. So that's what I think you could do, to not be like, oh, I don't want blah 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 as this character. You can just have anybody. Kind of like what they did with the Little Mermaid. Honestly, in the Little Mermaid, there wasn't any like stars really, like big stars. I mean, Melissa McCarthy's probably the biggest star in that movie. So
yeah. Well,
yeah, so um, but yeah, I think it might be a little difficult to find somebody. Yeah,
Aquafina's the biggest star.
I forgot. Oh yeah, she's the bird or whatever. Yeah, I think Melissa McCarthy is a bigger star than Aquafina is, but yeah, probably.
I don't know. Aquafina's getting quite the bankroll on bird uh animation.
Well, I'm glad that you like Aquafina playing animals, because the Bad Guys 2 is being made. I didn't even know that the first one made that much money, but that features Aquafina as a spider, I believe.
Oh, great.
So yeah.
Uh,
What'd you think of the trailer for Bad Guys 2?
I honestly forgot this even existed. I do recall, a trailer with to the bad guy theme. That
Yeah.
was literally all I remembered. Um, yeah, I guess it. I mean, kids' movies where they're animals and it's animated are just like a shoe-in. So I
Yeah.
mean,
I think the first one was made for like 70 million and it made like over 250 or something like that. So I mean, it did well enough. But I don't think anybody went, "Oh man, that movie was great. Give me another one." But
as long as they
maybe,
put it in time frame where it's not competing against much, it'll probably do just as well again.
yeah. Um, yeah, we'll see. They have the bad girls there, even though, I mean, Aquafina is a girl, I think.
Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. They didn't have her talk like at all in the trailer, but it's just more voice actors there, more famous people being voices in there. Um, I watched the first one. The first one was decent. I do like Sam Rockwell, and he's the lead. Um, and he's a pretty good choice. But you know, I don't know who's clamoring for this. I guess maybe kids, but I don't even think the kids are. Um, so we'll see how that does. And then the last trailer here is Elio, which is the next Pixar film. After the big success of Inside Out 2. What did you think of this trailer? We got a trailer for this like over a year and a half ago. And then they pushed it. They swapped out Inside Out 2, they moved up. And then they put Elio back. So we were supposed to have gotten this movie already.
Well, I'd say it was the right call.
I mean, they clearly they know we need the money. Let's move it up. We got something here, and they did. So yeah. Well, I don't know if that's telling for Elio, or they're just saying, hey, we need a win. Maybe Elio could still be good. I think it's coming out in the summer. I can't remember what it said, but
it didn't look great to me. So
it used an indie rock song there that I knew, of course. So I thought that was fun.
Oh,
I
so
mean,
it must be amazing then.
no, I didn't say it was amazing. I just said I liked the song. That's it. They made it like weird sound, spacey. So, but yeah, I don't know. It, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really excite me either.
It looks super kiddie, whereas Inside Out, I mean, it's for kids, but there was things for adults in there too. So
Yeah,
I think it's got to appeal to both if you want to make a good movie that makes a lot of money. But I don't think this really appeals to adults. It's just, oh, he said he's the ruler of Earth or whatever.
yeah,
Let's do fun
yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I mean, it looks good. I know it looks good. I think it'll and probably will look good. I mean, visually, but we'll see about
I
the rest.
mean, I think if you're an animated movie, you should always look good. You don't really have an excuse in, you know,
Yeah,
2024 anymore to not have good animation. So,
yeah, pretty much. I saw early the other day. I saw like a picture. It was Toy Story 1, and they showed the picture of the dog, and then as like the difference between like 20 years makes, and then they showed there's a cat in Toy Story 4, and it was like stretching. You could like see the fur and everything, and the dog looks like very like
hmm
blocky looking. And I was like, yeah,
yeah,
it's a big difference. That's I think Toy Story 1 came out in like 95. So the Toy Story 4 came out in like 2019 or something. So it was more like 25 years, but yeah, I mean, leaps and bounds, but both good movies. So yeah, exactly. It should look good at this point. If it's not, especially from a Disney, Pixar, you
yeah. If
expect
it
it.
didn't look good, yeah, I mean, we'd be talking about something else, right? Like, there's a
Yeah,
problem with the animation if
yeah,
it
exactly.
doesn't look.
Cool. All right. Well, that's everything I got. You got anything else before we get into it here?
No, I'm ready to start.
All right, cool. All right. So today we're talking about Gladiator 2. Um, uh, what do you think? So overall,
Um, I was expecting a lot more. I thought this was uh I don't know if I want to say disappointing because I didn't really have super high expectations, but the character work was pretty piss poor. It just I didn't care who died. They could have
mm-hmm.
all died. None of it mattered. I guess they had some cool set pieces, but I mean, the set pieces get brought down when you don't care about the characters. So they just absolutely failed on that front, and it brought the whole movie down as a whole.
Yeah. Um. Okay. So here are some. Yes. There's some standouts, but I can see what you're saying. There's too many characters. Number one. Now I saw this movie um a while ago. And there I've been working, and I work in a movie theater, so I've been going back in, and there's characters I literally forgot about in this movie. Um,
Mm,
there's there's a guy. So the lead is like a prisoner of war. So
yep.
he basically becomes a slave. There's another gladiator that he's with in the beginning that that I mean, he's in it for a few minutes. I totally forgot about that whole thing because
Yeah, it
this
was dumb. I don't even
because
know how they did it, but
because there's so many characters and the movie's way too long. Um, this movie could have been half an hour to 45 minutes shorter.
and it
Um,
still would have been bad.
and I mean, the movie isn't fantastic, but there's a lot of like it's made well, I think, but the yeah, the main problem is the writing is bad. Um because the actors are doing a pretty good job, and it looks really good, I think, but the the story is goofy,
Yeah.
um, and the
It was very
motivation,
predictable.
it's
Like,
predictable, and I don't think you've seen the first one. The storyline is basically the same. It's
mhm.
basically a reboot, remake, sequel. It's like almost the
Yeah, I didn't
same.
know what I wanted to be. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, I think this movie would have been better if they made it about Pedro Pascal's character, because they even connect him to the first one, his character to the first one, and it would have been more interesting if they just made it about Pedro Pascal. Um, and
I see what you're saying. I don't think that would have saved this movie. That wasn't the problem. It's just that.
first of all, they're trying to make it as like it's a big revelation or secret that he's Russell Crowe's character's son, even though it's in the trailer. He even says your father. She goes, "Your father, Maximus." Like, you're
Yeah,
literally saying,
to be honest, I didn't remember that in the trailer, but
yeah,
I mean, it was so predictable that he was the
yeah.
kid that it didn't even matter.
So it's not a revelation. So I don't understand. Like, it's not a revelation if you watch it, not see the trailers, and then if you see the trailer, it tells you. So why is it like a secret? I don't understand. It is weird.
Because if they knew he was the emperor, it wouldn't have played out like it did.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird movie. Now I think the lead, what's his name, Paul Mescal did. I think he did a serviceable job, but I don't think he's like he can lead a giant movie like this. Um, Denzel Washington did his Denzel thing. He did pretty good, but you know, it, I I kind of knew where it was going with him. Um, and the only reason it still really works is because it's Denzel. So, I mean, Denzel's a great actor, and just his sheer charisma is what makes that character work. Um, so I don't know. Did you did you think Denzel did a good job?
I think he did the best that he could, but
Yeah,
I thought the script was just terrible, and
yeah,
who he was working across from was pretty terrible. The emperors were, I mean, you knew what they were there for. Just, I don't know.
well, two of them couldn't make one Joaquin Phoenix in the first one,
Yeah, and
apparently.
I feel like with them being the emperors, it was like, what was even the point of the first movie if all it did was put these two in power? Like, at the end of the movie, he puts the Senate in power, and what do? They just screw it up, I guess. Is
Yeah.
that the point of it?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I don't get it. Well, also, I just think, and also, if you had it just about like Pedro Pascal character, you could have said like why those guys came into power and stuff. I think it would have been
Yeah, I
probably more.
guess. Yeah.
I think you could have done a more interesting story. Connie Nielsen is back in this movie, and all she does is go, "I love you, son. You're the best. Please make it to me and be safe."
No, she also says, I love you, husband. I hope you make it back
Yeah,
safe.
yeah. Okay, gotcha. That's like, um, yeah. There's just like there's so many characters. There's the there's a doctor that he befriends, and uh, he has a wife. That's in it. Uh,
Yeah.
you know,
His
um,
motivation, he's like, oh, I want to kill everyone. And then, like, in the middle of the movie, he just kind of quick swaps and is like, I'm going to save Rome.
yeah.
And
Let's here. Let's get into spoilers here. because there's just so much stuff to talk about. I think.
Yeah.
Uh, um, so I'm gonna give it a 6.
Yeah. I'm in the same place. Honestly, I wouldn't be sad if it went down to a 5 because I did think it was pretty average, but I do think the set pieces and the designs of the outfits and stuff is enough to warrant that extra point.
Yeah, I would say like the design, the costumes. There's some actors that are just charismatic and do a good job in it.
No,
Uh,
no, I'm
yeah, I
not
think
giving. No, I understand that Denzel's a good actor and stuff, but no, I don't think it wasn't. The script was just bad. You can't elevate that. It just wasn't good.
yeah. Anyway, so yeah, okay, so let's get into just some spoilers here. Okay, so his wife dies, and that's his motivation, and which is, is you know,
Honestly, it was stupid. She was fighting and then you lost, and she
yeah.
wasn't even like she was some innocent bystander or something. She was literally shooting at them, and he shot her back.
Well,
And
it's like
then,
it's trying to be like he's who he's going after, Pedro Pascal's character, and but then like he's not really a villain, and then you have the emperors, but then of course the emperors aren't the true villain. The true villain is Denzel, but then his backstory is like tragic. So like, why would you want him to be the main villain? It just makes no sense. Like,
they really didn't give that much backstory, so I didn't
yeah,
find it tragic. Like
they
he was a
give him
slave. Yeah,
yeah, they give him the backstory and they shove it in there and they're like at the very end,
it
like
was really not much, but yeah.
this movie takes so long, and then they go, here's an actually interesting plot point to this character, but we put it at the end so we don't have any time to go over something that might be slightly interesting. And then here's the end. Oh, and the end is also anticlimactic and pretty lame. Um, so yeah,
What? I mean, he's like a billion years old. Of course, it was not very good.
it's like, oh, they set up for like this big battle, like this big epic battle that's gonna happen, and then they just fight. He kills him. The end. That is the latest ending I've seen to an epic movie.
Yeah.
Other than probably the movie, epic movie is probably the worst ending because that movie's bad. But I don't, I don't understand. I don't under, I don't get this. This movie was the ending was so lame. Yeah. Anyway, and then they give his reasoning at the end, and then but they rushed the end. So, um, yeah, yeah, and there's so let's talk about the battles here. So there's a battle in the beginning. Start off with a battle, start off with a bang there, which was fine. I mean,
I thought that was probably the best scene in the movie, to be honest.
yeah, probably. I agree with that. There's monkeys, and them fighting monkeys, and then
Not
the
sure why they
CG.
needed bad CG in this movie, but they did.
Yes, CG wasn't great. Um, so that that was weird. And then we had the one with the sharks when they're on boats in the Coliseum.
There was definitely no sharks in the Coliseum. That's played up for sure.
I would assume so. Yeah.
I believe they did have naval battles. I'm not. They did have the ability to move water through the aqueducts, but
Yeah.
I don't. I doubt they had the
There
ability.
were sharks. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm sure that was embellished there. But I thought that was goofy. So yeah, I mean, they were big and stuff. Uh, and then I guess you had a fight with Pedro Pascal's character in the lead, and then the lead kills him there. Uh,
He doesn't kill him. The emperors do.
oh yeah, yeah. You gotta have the thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah, and then yeah, it's the emperors. So Well, you got Mr. Fantastic and Johnny Storm in there because the taller Emperor guy is going to be Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
so, so Johnny Storm killed Mr. Fantastic there. That's kind of funny. Think about it. And then the other guy, Heckinger, is the other Emperor who's like the crazier guy.
Yeah, they
So
were both weasels. I mean, they were predictable. They were just there to do bad stuff. Yeah, but
he makes like the monkey like the head of state or something.
oh yeah,
And then Denzel's like, I'm in power now. He makes himself the de facto emperor or whatever.
yeah.
Um, yeah. There's apparently a character from the first one that they brought back.
The senator
And
guy.
yeah,
And then they killed him.
and they kill him in like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Um,
he
so
dies in the arena when
yeah,
dude, they're so it doesn't even matter. Like
yeah,
so bad. Just to keep track of this bad script.
yeah. So this is the same guy who wrote Napoleon that no one watched. Um, and I think I like Napoleon more than this movie.
I
Uh,
never saw it, but I
but
would
it's
certainly hope so.
the it's funny because that the building of that movie is similar to this movie. It's too long. It starts with a big battle. It's about people wanting to be in power and people overthrowing other people and coups and things and whatever. And there's love and stuff is very similar. And then the anticlimactic ending to Napoleon. But I think I probably liked Napoleon more than this movie. And then the problem with that movie was the writing was not good. And it's the same writer. I don't know why.
Keeps getting
If
work.
Yeah, I guess it must have just been Ridley Scott saying, "Hey, this is my movie, and I want this guy." Um, but I I doubt Ridley Scott will get this kind of money again. And apparently, this movie's budget ballooned really, really high, like over 300 million. So, um, I'm not sure they're gonna get their investment back on this. And I don't think any studio will be giving him this kind of budget again.
Mm.
Um,
It's sad because he seems to be the only one that wants to do, like an
things like
old
this.
school epic movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do like those kinds of movies, but this is not it.
To be honest with you, Gladiator is a movie that people love. This could have been a very easy win.
Yeah.
You just have to get somebody competent to write it, and this guy is not it. But he's his guy, so And oh yeah, so yeah, and I want to talk. The last thing about the story that I thought was dumb was the coup thing, them trying to overthrow them, and they get found out because she's just like loudly talking about it in their place about overthrowing them, and then like one of the servants or whatever overhears it and then tells the emperor. Like
Yeah.
don't talk about it, your coup out in the open. It's pretty goofy.
Yeah. I think the
And
servant was in the arena at the end with her too.
yep,
So
yep. So she don't snitch. I guess was the
yeah,
moral there.
snitches get stitches. You know what I mean?
Snitches die in the
Yeah.
arena. So I thought it's so goofy, This movie.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you like to point out goofy stuff. This movie is riddled with that. So yeah. I still think 6 is where I'm gonna give it. And I think there is things to like about it, but yeah, I would have done lots of different things with this movie. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I would like to give it a 5. I don't know. Probably
Sure.
in like 3 weeks, it'll be a 5 for me
You
because
can give it a 5.
this movie will not sit well with me. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I, yeah. When I saw it, I was like, I think I was kind of, it was just like an epic type movie. So it does a little bit better with me in the beginning. And then when I sit with it and thought about it, I thought about the characters' motivations and like their storylines and stuff. And the more I thought about it, the more, and I thought from the get go, I thought the ending was trash in this movie. So, but I just kept marinating on it. And the more I marinated on it, the more I was like, this movie's goofy.
yeah.
So, yeah, I think I'm still going to give it a 6. I think there's still good stuff about it, and it's slightly above average, but yeah, not like a fantastic film by any means.
Yeah. Well, I guess that wraps up our episode. We'll see you guys on the next one. Until then.
This has been the Daniel and Andrew Show.